Natalia couldn't believe what was happening to her. Her husband, her only, who she considered her support and rock, today told her, "I don't love you." The shock was so great that she froze in a ridiculous pose and remained in it all the while he rushed around, packing his things and jangling keys. Yet, she couldn't afford this right now. Her father had recently passed away suddenly, and despite her own grief, she had to take care of her mother and sister who were left behind. 18 years after a severe head injury, her sister had become disabled. Their family lived in a neighboring town. Her son had started first grade. In June, her workplace shut down. She was left without a job. And now without a husband. Natalia clasped her head in her hands, sat down at the table, and cried bitterly. God, what am I to do? How am I to live? Oh, Alexei, I must hurry to catch up with him at school. The necessity of daily duties forced her to get up and go. Mommy, were you crying? No, Alexei, no. Are you crying for Grandpa? Mommy misses him so much. And me too, darling, but we must be strong. Our Grandpa was always like that. He's in a better place now, don't worry. He deserves rest. He never rested in his life. And where is Dad? Dad? Probably went on another business trip. How's school? We have to live. He doesn't love. Nothing we can do. You can't make someone love you forcibly. She glanced at something in her haste. While Alexei had lunch and played with his toy soldiers, Natalia accessed her husband's computer's email. She had never done this before. Getting into the email was easy, the login was in the top left corner. Vladimir hadn't had a chance to delete their recent correspondence. His love was overflowing. And now she was unloved. She had been a bright sun for 10 years. After 8 years of battling for a child's birth, she became a mother too. Everything had changed now. And she had to get used to it. First and foremost, she needed to find a job. No one cared about her highest education. The meager unemployment benefits from the employment office solved no problems. What happened? What went wrong? Why did her responsible, moderately caring husband suddenly turn into a stranger in the blink of an eye? All her thoughts found one justification. He just went mad. The joint house, built brick by brick, was unfinished. Fortunately, there was a roof over their heads and one room suitable for living. Work. How much she needed you. Natalia was ready to burst into tears again, but there was no time for that. She needed a job so badly. The search went on for several days. Unsuccessfully. Her son's first grade and her current loneliness narrowed her chances to a minimum. In the evening of another unsuccessful day, a call came from Roman, their friend. Natalia. Well, did he come back? No. Will you go work as a storekeeper? Are you serious? Yes, I understand you're not in the mood for jokes after Vladimir. Intermittently. A job with breaks. I could go pick up the godson or arrange for after-school care. Salary is 800. Not much, of course, but better than nothing. We'll bring you potatoes with onions and chicken tomorrow. Roman, I already have chickens. They feed us, lay eggs. Let them feed us, we can't eat them. Thank you, how's Galina? Nothing, she's managing. She's a trooper. That's how he always is. Galina's wife underwent major surgery, she's undergoing chemotherapy, and he never complained about carrying everything now. He's doing fine. Natalia sighed. There's a chance to survive. Thank God. He's the most reliable, sees everything, never lets you down. Thanks to the cum. The job turned out to be straightforward, and she found moments to be alone, to cry, to ponder what had happened. Days, weeks, months flew by. After a year, Natalia felt she could eat, sleep, laugh, and rejoice in her son's successes. The pain associated with her husband's betrayal resurfaced when he came to take Alexei for the weekends. She didn't object, their relationship shouldn't make the child unhappy. She wanted so much to ask what went wrong. Although she understood that it wasn't about that, but about her husband's sudden passion for another woman. Words from some movie came to mind. Love lasts until the first turn, and then life begins. For her, love and life were inseparable. But for him? Autumn this year felt like an extension of summer. Warm, with green leaves on the trees, ringing children's voices on the street, the variety of asters and chrysanthemums in the flower bed. The day Natalia saw Mikhail's intense gaze wasn't any different from the others. Maybe the sun was shining a little brighter, maybe the music from the neighbor's open window sounded a little louder. Maybe it was just time for two solitudes to meet, according to fate's plans. Girl, let me help, can you really burden yourself like this? It's habitual for me. It's really bad when such a beauty makes carrying burdens habitual for herself. Do you help all beauties? Do you stand guard outside the store? Yep, stood guard, looked with all my eyes, finally saw a beauty. Couldn't help but burst out laughing, and they laughed, deliciously, to tears, just uncontrollably. Mikhail, he extended his hand, and the laughter still danced in his eyes. Natalia. Natalia, another man's wife. Have you heard that song? No? But I'm not a wife. Come on, I'm so lucky. Finally met a girl you can only dream of, and she's single. Is everyone around here crazy or blind? I see you have no problem with humor, that's good. And in terms of seriousness? That's in order too. Natalia, how about going to the movies today, talk, hang out? I can't, unfortunately. I have to pick up my son from after-school care. I can't believe my ears. You have a son? You're like 20, what after-school care? I'm 35. Oh, same here. What a coincidence. But honestly, I really thought you were much younger. And now? And now? I'm pondering. All men dream of having a son, and here you casually mention you're unmarried. Where's the kid's father? The kid's father. I wouldn't like to talk about it now. Understood, and we won't. Then can we go to a children's movie on the weekend with your son? On weekends, my son spends time with his father. Natalia. I don't want to be a bother, but if you have a couple of free hours, give me a call. Here's my card with the number. By the way, it says I'm a doctor, pediatric hematologist. There's no more serious job. And no time to search for beauties. Okay, Mikhail, I'll call. Thank you, Natalia said sincerely. I'll be waiting. What a beautiful autumn it was. It truly was a gift for them. The soft sunlight, making the colors of the leaves create an incredible palette of colors, warm sunny days, opening up all the parks in the city, and their tenderness, breaking through the pain of the past and swirling in an autumn dance under this fantastic foliage. They approached each other so tenderly that to her surprise Natalia felt drawn to this wonderful man. And almost a month and a half after their first meeting, she shyly suggested having tea. Natalia, will you be offended if I don't come to you? Everything that's happening to me now is so important, I'll take care of it myself, okay? Do you trust me? The next weekend, they went to a nature reserve park where Mikhail had rented a house resembling a small castle. Inside, it was clean and cozy, but Natalia saw nothing except the huge brown eyes of her beloved, and she drowned in them, sinking into his embrace. Natalia didn't know that the most intimate moment between a man and a woman could be so sweet. Mikhail, where am I? What's happening to me? I feel like I'm dying, I love you so much. How did I live without you? Not as well as with you. How beautiful you are, how happy I am. A couple of months later, it became increasingly difficult for them to part ways. Natalia, marry me. Mikhail, I have a divorce at the end of the month. And marry me right away, otherwise someone else will take my girl. The girl is her own mistress, not for just anyone, she has a favorite. But, Mikhail, let's skip all the celebrations, let's just sign the papers, and take me to this castle, where I immediately and forever became your wife. Okay, my love, everything will be as you say. Roman and Galina were the only witnesses at their wedding registration. Mom and my little sister sent an enthusiastic telegram. And soon they moved into the two-bedroom apartment rented by Mikhail, where the two of them diligently renovated, creating a cozy, comfortable nest. Mikhail especially carefully planned Alexei's room. They had known each other for a long time, but Alexei, for whom his mother and father were his whole world, was reluctant to connect with Mikhail. Natalia, don't be alarmed. Let's check Alexei's blood. Something doesn't seem right, he's too pale. Oh, Mikhail, he's just anxious. It was hard for him to realize that we got divorced, but he always hoped it wouldn't happen. I read that divorce is scarier for a child than the death of one parent. You're right, my wise woman. I myself experienced my parents' divorce as a universal catastrophe. But we'll get his blood tested. Okay, champ? On that day, Mikhail entered the apartment where his family lived, with his head down. Natalia immediately understood that something had happened. Natalia, don't worry, there are changes in Alexei's blood. My intuition didn't fail, unfortunately. I'll take him with me tomorrow. It wasn't fair, as if they had to pay for their happiness, and at such a price. Leukemia, what a terrifying word. And so began another life. Natalia took unpaid leave because she couldn't imagine Alexei enduring these endless injections, drips, and blood tests without her. She held her son's hand and only pleaded, "Stay strong, my boy. You're my strong one, you've always been my most reliable friend. We've never been apart, and we'll always be together." When she was utterly exhausted, Mikhail would send Natalia to rest and stay with Alexei. Sleeping wasn't always possible, she often lay staring at the ceiling. Her ex-husband called and demanded that she vacate the unfinished house. "I'll give attention to our son myself, he'll come to my house." "You'd better visit him." "I can't now, I'm going on a business trip." After listening to his wife, Mikhail patted her shoulder. "Natalia, we'll earn everything ourselves. Don't cling to the past. It's still upsetting. I was earning good money, investing everything in the house." "Mikhail, do we really need to think about that now? About leaving me? Don't worry about it. Put all your thoughts into Alexei. I'll manage. I've always dreamed of having a family, God knows, he won't take you away from me." "Mikhail, how are the test results?" "We're doing everything while they're bad." Natalia cried silently. She couldn't let Alexei know it was bad. "Uncle Mikhail, what's wrong with my blood?" "You see, in our blood, there are white and red ships, and yours had a battle." "And who's winning?" "For now, the whites, and what will happen next?" "Help the red ones." "Mommy, take me somewhere, I'm so tired." "Natalia, I was going to suggest that. Let's take Alexei to our castle. The weather's nice now, we'll walk in the forest, let him rest." Spring adorned their corner with blooming shrubs and trees. The three of them wandered through the forest, rejoicing in every flower and blade of grass. But there were moments when the sun tensed and froze. "What's wrong, son? Are you feeling bad?" "Mom, don't disturb, I'm having a naval battle." The short vacation quickly ended. Alexei changed, freshened up, even a rosy tint appeared on his cheeks. "Mom, where's Dad?" "On a business trip, son." "Again?" "Well, okay." Upon returning to the clinic, they took tests again. The head of the laboratory came herself. "Mr. Mikhail, where did you take your son?" "Nearby, to the nature reserve." "What's wrong, what about the blood?" "Everything's fine, he's in remission, good blood." Mikhail jumped into the room. "Alexei, what did you do?" "You're better, son. Don't cry, Natalia, he's getting better." "What did you do, son?" "Dad, remember you told me about the ships? I won every naval battle with the red ones." Red ones. Red ones.